Alright, football fans. One of the biggest storylines of the 2025 NFL Draft was the surprising slide of quarterback Shedeur Sanders. As he continued to fall down the draft board, speculation mounted about why various teams were passing on him, especially those who seemingly had a need at the quarterback position. The Pittsburgh Steelers, picking at number 21 in the first round, were one team that passed on Sanders. Amidst swirling rumors and fan speculation about that decision, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin has now addressed the choice, setting the record straight on why Pittsburgh went in a different direction with their top draft pick. In an interview with NFL Network, Mike Tomlin reiterated the key reasons behind the Steelers selecting defensive tackle Derrick Harmon instead of Shedeur Sanders with their first-round pick. Number 21 overall, Tomlin connected the pick to the team's overarching philosophy and needs heading into the draft, particularly with this specific draft class. Tomlin explained that the decision was rooted in the Steelers' commitment to reestablish physicality and big man presence with the players they were targeting in this draft. He stated that Derrick Harmon specifically fits that bill, citing Harmon's physical stature and style of play. Tomlin emphasized that these traits are just what we covet and what we need for the team. His comments make it clear that with the 21st pick, the Steelers prioritized addressing their need for size and physicality in the trenches, rather than taking a quarterback who is still available. While the Steelers did not address the quarterback position in the first round, they did eventually select a quarterback later in the draft. They waited until the 6th round, taking Will Howard from Ohio State with the 185th overall pick. This pick fits within the framework of the Steelers' stated plan for their quarterback room. General Manager Omar Khan had previously promised that the team would take 4 quarterbacks to training camp, with Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson already in the mix, as noted in previous reports. Though this article specifically mentions Howard as the draft pick, adding Will Howard brings their current number of quarterbacks on the roster closer to that goal. However, Tomlin's comments and the team's draft strategy regarding quarterbacks highlight that their plans for the potential starting quarterback were likely tied to veteran additions outside of the first round. The article notes that with the drafted quarterback, Howard, added, only one spot remains available on the roster for training camp to meet the 4-quarterback goal. Crucially, it states that the final big decision depends on Aaron Rodgers. If the veteran free agent Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers, he will be the starting quarterback. If Rodgers does not sign, the article suggests the other alternative would be a trade for Kirk Cousins with the Falcons, indicating that their top priority for the starting role is a veteran, not a rookie from this draft class, at least not one taken in the first round. Tomlin's explanation about prioritizing physicality and big men with the 21st pick sheds light on the team's draft philosophy and specific needs they felt were most pressing with their top selection. Despite the allure and availability of a high-profile, albeit sliding, quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, the Steelers chose to build in the trenches first. Their approach to finding a starting quarterback seems to be focused on bringing in a veteran presence, either through free agency with Aaron Rodgers or potentially via a trade for Kirk Cousins if the Rodgers option doesn't materialize. In conclusion, Coach Mike Tomlin has clarified the Steelers' decision-making process at pick number 21 in the 2025 NFL Draft. Passing on Shedeur Sanders was a deliberate choice, based on the team's strategic goal to re-establish physicality and add size to their defensive line with the selection of Derrick Harmon. While they addressed the quarterback position later in the draft with Will Howard, their primary focus for the starting quarterback role remains external, hinging on the outcome of the Aaron Rodgers situation or a potential trade for Kirk Cousins, demonstrating a clear separation between their top draft priority and their plans for the quarterback position this year. Alright, let's address one of the notable draft decisions from the first round. The Pittsburgh Steelers opted not to select quarterback Shedeur Sanders or any other quarterback with their 21st overall pick, choosing defensive tackle Derrick Harmon instead. Now, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin has publicly confirmed the specific reasoning behind that decision. In a recent interview with NFL Network, Mike Tomlin explained that the decision to draft Derrick Harmon at pick number 21 was a direct reflection of the Steelers' strategy in this draft. Tomlin stated there is a commitment here with this draft group to re-establish physicality and big man presence. He added, quote, "Certainly. Derrick Harmon fits that bill. We like his physical stature. We like his style of play. It's just what we covet and what we need." Tomlin's comments make it clear that the focus at pick 21 was specifically on adding that defensive line physicality, rather than addressing the quarterback position at that point in the draft. While they passed on a quarterback in the first round, the Steelers did draft one later, selecting Will Howard in the 6th round. The article notes that the Steelers' overall approach to drafting quarterbacks, only taking one late in the draft, appears to leave an open roster spot, which many observers connect to the ongoing rumors about the Steelers potentially signing veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Their draft strategy at QB seems to align with making room for a significant veteran addition. The Steelers ultimately made 7 selections in the 2025 draft, focusing on areas like defensive line, running back, and edge rusher in the earlier rounds. The article also mentions that if the Steelers are unable to sign Aaron Rodgers, another potential alternative for their starting quarterback situation is trading for Kirk Cousins with the Atlanta Falcons. In summary, while there's still speculation surrounding the Steelers' overall quarterback situation and who their starter will be, head coach Mike Tomlin has provided a clear explanation for their first-round pick decision. He stated that choosing Derrick Harmon over a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders at pick 21 was based on a specific draft philosophy focused on adding defensive line physicality and presence, a key priority for the team in this draft class. Alright, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their quarterback situation, because they made a notable move on day 3 of the NFL draft. In the 6th round, with the 185th pick overall, the Steelers selected quarterback Will Howard from Ohio State. This marks the first time the Steelers have drafted a quarterback since they took Kenny Pickett and Chris Oladokun back in 2022. But the reason this pick is getting extra attention is the context around it. The Steelers have been pretty clear that they plan on carrying 4 quarterbacks into training camp this year, with Howard joining Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph on the roster. That means there's potentially one spot remaining in that quarterback room. And the big question mark filling that spot is still free agent Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers was recently released by the New York Jets, and the Steelers have reportedly been in discussions with him. Both Steelers owner Art Rooney II and coach Mike Tomlin have commented on the possibility of adding Rodgers, with Rooney saying they may get word soon, and Tomlin mentioning they've had productive talks. So, while they drafted Howard, they are still clearly awaiting a decision from Rodgers. As for Will Howard, the Steelers got a quarterback with national championship-winning pedigree from his lone year at Ohio State. Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith said they were impressed with Howard's play in big moments, especially during the playoffs where he had strong numbers. For the season, he completed 73% of his passes. The Steelers also liked him as a person after meeting with him, getting a sense of how he interacts with teammates. Howard himself seems to embrace the situation. He's expected to be more of a developmental project, and he said after being drafted that he's focused on getting better and learning, wanting to give his all to the team. So, by drafting Will Howard, the Steelers have added a quarterback with some impressive experience in big games and a willingness to develop. But the picture in the Pittsburgh quarterback room still isn't complete. They drafted Howard as part of their plan for 4 QBs. But the question of whether Aaron Rodgers will decide to join the team remains, keeping that final spot potentially open and leaving everyone waiting for his decision.